Okay, well, I'm Katie from Paper Trail YA, and this is Susan Dennard, not Denard.
Not Denard.
Not Denard. And we are going to talk about her new book, Truthwitch, and a little bit about Windwitch.
I don't need to know more.
Okay, so the first thing I want to ask you about is because I don't know if everybody has read Truthwitch yet, so can you tell us just a little bit about it?
Yes, so Truthwitch is about two best friends who may or may not be a chosen pair meant to save the world. Whoa! And their world is one where magic is dying, and three empires who have been at peace for 20 years are now about to get back into an epic war. So
it's pretty intense.
There's a lot at stake, yeah.
I like to tell everybody that it is Wheel of Time meets Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That is the greatest compliment of all time, so thank you. I'm going to take that. I'll say my friend Katie told me, and then, because I can't say that about my own book, that would seem vain.
Yeah, you can throw that around.
My friend Katie.
Okay, so the sequel to Truthwitch is going to be Windwitch.
Windwitch,
Can you tell us a little bit about Windwitch?
Windwitch is following Merrick Nihar, who is our Windwitch prince from the first book. He's back in his home city in New Brevna, which is his country. And yeah, war has begun. Things are not good in his city. And so he kind of has to rise to the task. Or not. I won't tell you what happens. So yes, I hope
Merrick is my
Merrick
favorite.
is a fan favorite, so I really hope that everyone likes Merrick's story.
Magic Merrick.
Magic Merrick, that's what people say, yes.
And the cover was just revealed last week for Windwitch, and it was beautiful. It's my favorite.
Glad
of
you like
covers.
it. It's my favorite of my covers too.
The colors just work so well.
Right, and I think it fits really well with this, but it's also really different.
Mm-hmm.
I could gush for a while. I won't do that on your video, but yes.
That's okay. All of your covers have been really pretty. Like all of
I feel very lucky.
Something Strange and Deadly series, those covers are gorgeous too. But the book series are so different. Is it hard to go from one to the other?
My first series it's historical, but also with obviously magic and walking corpses. But it's still historically accurate aside from that, and so that was really intensive research. Like, I get flashbacks sometimes where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much I researched for this book. Wow, I don't know how I had the stamina for that, because it was
all the different places.
All the different places, and like I would use primary documents from 1876, and like, let me tell you, it is hard to find, primary documents about Paris from 1876. I'd have to have my husband translate them, because I was like, I don't know what this says. So
it's a good thing you had him.
I know, right? But then Cairo was a whole nother. Yeah. I was like, Egypt is woo. But fortunately, there was like a fad in the 1870s, all of the 1800s, to like go on vacation on the Nile. If you were like a rich person who was like, oh, I need a break from my hard life of wealth, I'm gonna go to the Nile. And so they all would write these terrible diaries, which I was able to use. So yay, thank you, rich people.
And I just finished that series.
Oh, yes, you did.
It was amazing. I recommend it to everybody.
Thank you, good.
And the last one was like an awesomer version of The Mummy.
Thank you. I love The Mummy.
It.
Don't hide the fact that The Mummy was a huge inspiration, because like aesthetically I just always loved that. Indiana Jones too, so I was like, there have to be mummies in my world. That is happening.
And it was heartbreaking, but it was a wonderful conclusion to the series.
Thank you.
But Truthwitch is
very different.
One of my all-time favorite books.
Thank you. It's very different. It's a much bigger book because there are 4 main characters versus just one, which was hard. It was actually easy the first book, but I introduced a lot, as you know. It's a very complicated book, and so dealing with that in the sequel has been a struggle, because I'm like, why did I need 3 empires? Like, wasn't one empire enough? And did I need so many kinds of magic? And did I need 4 main characters? Like, Susan, why did you do this to yourself? I understand your plight, George R. R. Martin, I do, and I'm not even a baby. So, yes, but I'm figuring that it is all coming together, so.
The world building is one of my favorite things in this, because you did a really good job with it. It makes me feel like I'm there. And I like that it's a lot in the beginning.
Yeah.
So that the rest of the book, you're like, oh, this is all the action now. So, and you understand it all
It's a
really
hard balance, that though, like especially for people who don't maybe read a lot of adult fantasy and aren't used to that, which is that's a standard staple of adult fantasy.
Yeah.
It's like world, new words.
Yeah.
Figure it out and keep reading. And even if you don't, just keep reading, you'll get it. And so I've had some people who only read YA and they're like, ugh, too hard. So I'm glad you stuck with it, because I get it. I get that it's like not necessarily straight YA. It's I mean, I'm published with a fantasy house, you know?
Yeah.
So it's definitely more adult in that way.
Yeah. It fits in at Tor really well.
Yeah, it does. I was freaked out when they bought it because Tor is my favorite. All my favorite books are from Tor. So
Yeah,
I was
me
like,
too.
what do you want to buy? I had dinner last night with the founder, Tom Doherty, like his whole family. And I was the only author at dinner. I was like, what's happening? Is this real?
He has
cool,
like
Susan.
signed Wheel of Time books in his office.
My dog is named after Isaac Asimov because I'm a huge Asimov fan, and he was like, "Oh yes, Asimov. He would have liked you. Let me tell you about him." And I was like, "I'm dying inside. Oh my god, what? Asimov would have liked me. I need that on a T-shirt. I need it on a T-shirt."
That is awesome.
Yes. Anyway, side note.
And you were talking about like how people need to accept the things in fantasy, like new words and stuff like that. One of my favorite things that you did with words in this is Sappy's insults. What is your inspiration for her insults?
Oh my gosh, I have somewhat of a foul mouth sometimes, and like when I get angry, I want to get colorfully angry. And like I always joke that I swear like a sailor because I learned from sailors. I spent a summer working on a boat in college, and like it ain't no joke. Sailors swear like differently, and it's just important that you swear very emphatically. And so I was like, she's gonna swear like that, but with my own made-up words, you know, just like ridiculous phrases, but that you read and you're like, haha, that's so funny, but I like it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thanks.
So, who are your biggest influences in the fantasy genre that made you want to write this book?
Robin Hobb, she comes to mind first. I was slightly
She's on the
obsessed
back
with her.
here.
She is.
That's
I
awesome.
didn't even know she was reading it. I found out she read the book as a Word document, and I was like, what publisher? You couldn't have sent her like a printed copy of the book? My hero was reading it on her computer. So anyway, yes, I also, Jacqueline Carey is a huge inspiration, so I'm very spoiled. There were many tears shed when that came. I love George R. R. Martin. I like went through a period in college, like a 4-day period where I read all of the books that were out yet, they're big. So there was not much sleep in those days, but I had to know. He's so good at the cliffhanger chapter ending. Gosh. So yes, he was very important. Who else? Have you ever read Sherwood Smith too? If you like adult fantasy, yes.
I've heard the name.
Yes. And Kate Elliott, I also love. I love her. There are like some amazing adult fantasy women.
Yeah.
So yes, I wish there were more of them, but we're coming.
Oh yeah.
We're coming.
And Truthwitch is gonna help with that.
Yeah.
You're also a big gamer.
Yes, I am.
So has that influenced your writing in any way?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. To a bad, like I think a bad degree because I like make the world too big. You know, because I'm just like I think of it in terms of a game.
Open world building.
Yeah, just I'm like open. Yes, exactly. And so then it's like this is too much. We don't need all those little details. But yes, I do. Yes, I do. And that's what I love about gaming. Like you never know what little subtle thing you're playing Dragon Age. Like the world building in that.
Yeah.
And there's so many subtle little hints that if you are looking, because I've played it a few times now, I'm not gonna lie. And if you're looking for it, they drop in little hints in the world as to what's coming, and it's so well done.
So have you done that in here? Do I need to go through and look for the hints?
Everything is in there for a reason. I edit like a crazy person. I probably revise this book 20 times at least. Every time I go through, and so yes, there ain't nothing in there that shouldn't be in there. And there's nothing that like that won't come back.
Oh my
Unless I forgot it, but I'm pretty sure I have it all.
Oh man, so now I'm gonna have to read it
Go
again.
it again, I know. Well,
Much
I will say,
slower this
I
this
loved
time.
that one of my, I think it was Publishers Weekly, they were like, maybe it was a different one. One of them, the trade reviews, they were like, you're gonna want to read it twice to catch all the details. I was like, yes, thank you. You guys get it, yeah.
Okay, so I already asked that question. One of the big things in Truthwitch is the powers that people have, their witcheries.
Witcheries, yeah.
What would your witchery be if you lived in?
I would really like to be a water witch. I know it's like kind of cliche. I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I always wanted to be a water bender. Marine biology background, so like I want to go out in the ocean and be able to see all the creatures. So yeah, I really like the water witchery stuff.
Yeah, I would. It's funny that I got sorted into the air clan because I would be an air witch.
Oh, would you? It worked out. Yeah,
Yep.
you'll like book 2 then with Merrick and his Windwitchery. And there's a water witch character now too, another point of view. And she's a water witch, and I love it. I love it.
One of my favorite parts is when Merrick claps his hands over
Oh,
the
it
ears
does
of
the
the cleat.
thing?
That part just like blew me away. That's such a good
I'm
idea.
so glad you like it. So that's like an actual self-defense move that we learn, and that's because if you hit it right, you can burst someone's eardrums. So, or if you have wind magic, you can definitely burst their eardrums. So I was like, I'm gonna use that. Cool. Clap.
That's one of my favorite moments in the whole book.
Hey, cool. I'm so glad you caught that. I don't think anyone's ever been like, I love that. So now you know you can actually do that to someone if you get if you get it right with your hands cupped. There goes their eardrums. Don't practice. No, don't practice.
Okay, so another thing that I want everyone that's watching this to do is to sign up for your newsletter.
Oh, thanks.
Because you have the best newsletter of all of the author newsletters out there.
Thank you. I put a lot of time into it, not gonna lie. It is a day long. A day of my week is taken for that.
Well, it is very appreciated.
Good. I'm glad. And I think, honestly, that it's the reason that Truthwitch and the Witchlanders happened, because, like, that's how I connected with so many amazing people. Not on purpose, it just happened. People were like, hey, we like what you have to say. I was like, hey, thanks.
Every
like,
Friday.
Hey, we'll buy your book. And I'm like, hey, thanks. So, yeah, that was awesome. Really, really awesome.
And she gives so much good advice to aspiring authors. So not only do you get to hear little tidbits about her series that she has, but
it's mostly
the
about
advice is so
writing.
awesome. So helpful.
I worry sometimes I'm too honest about the writing process, and like people get intimidated. But at the same time, I feel like we need more transparency. A lot of authors say like, you know, oh, I write great first drafts. I'm like, no, you don't, liar. And even if you do, like most of us don't, and so it's intimidating, and then you feel terrible about yourself.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a fast writer, so whenever I hear someone who's like, I write a book a month, I'm like, hate myself. So yeah.
That doesn't mean it's a good book.
This is true. This is true. Good point.
I mean, you've shown that if you take the time.
If you take your time, yes.
How long did you work on Truthwitch?
So Truthwitch, I wrote the first like 200 pages really quickly, like in a month, which is really quickly for me. And then it sat because I had to sell it, so we sold it based on those 200 pages. So I didn't work on it again for like 8 months.
Oh wow!
So it was this weird. It was really hard to get back into it.
Yeah.
And it took me like a solid month of writing kind of crap to get. Oh, I get it now. I'm back in that world. And so, yeah, I wrote up to the lighthouse scene. Do you know that scene?
Yes,
that's my favorite scene in the whole book.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know why that scene just
Somebody needs to draw it perfectly.
Right? Oh, I love it. I love it. I just was in Adrian's head for that. Side note. But yeah, so then after that, it took a while to get it. But I would say then to actually finish it and revise it on my own before I turned it into my editor was probably like 4 months. So a total of 5 or 6 months. But then I spent like a year editing it with my editor, so it was a lot.
Where'd you get the idea for Truthwitch?
So the first spark of it came from a trip I took to Croatia in 2010 with a good friend of mine. We couch surfed across Croatia, which sounds dangerous, but it's like a legit thing. And yeah, it was so beautiful, and like the landscape was so amazing, and the people were so nice. I feel like I have a hair on my face. Sorry, I keep touching my face. Okay. Side note. And so, yeah, I was like, I love this place, and they filmed Game of Thrones there, and there's a reason. It is so beautiful. And so I wanted to make like an alternate fantasy world about that. So that's why, like, the map.
Mine doesn't have a map.
What? It does? Does it? Yeah. So, like, all of this is meant to be like the Adriatic Sea, so it's like emphasized. It's much bigger than the actual one, and the rest of this is sort of European. But yeah, I wanted to have like an alternate Adriatic Sea and Dalmatia, Dalmati. I was not very subtle. And New Brevna, which is based on this city in Croatia called Dubrovnik. So yeah, I stole pretty heavily from history. Yeah,
they're catchy.
So yeah, that was the first spark for that.
That's awesome. Well, you did a really awesome job of translating it into this book. And one last question that I had, since you do offer so much advice to aspiring authors, and we have a lot of followers that are working on books right now, what are the top tips that you would give them out of everything?
You know, one, I would say, like, there's no rush. The cool thing about being a writer is, like, you can do it till you die. Toni Morrison didn't even try writing it for fun until she was 39. So, it's like there's really no rush, and I think we all get so impatient, and especially in YA, a lot of authors are quite young, which is awesome. But also, I think it makes people feel like I need to get it done now, or it's never going to happen, and that's not true at all. And like, I got published pretty young, but I was still like 28 when my first book came out, and I'm so glad I had got to do everything I did before that, because it informs my writing. It makes it richer.
Yeah.
I went to Croatia, I enjoy life.
You were a marine biologist.
I know, and I got to do so many cool things with that really shaped who I am. And if I had been as impatient as I was, and I really had tried to get published, then I would have missed all that. So
yeah.
I'm glad. And now I kind of want to like take breaks between series, maybe at some point, to like live.
Yeah.
Because you need that in order
new
to write well.
Yeah, new
exactly.
books.
Refill the well. So
yeah.
That's like my number one advice, especially to younger writers.
Mm-hmm.
No rush.
It is an industry right now that seems really fast-paced.
It is. It's too fast-paced.
You gotta get your books in before that trend is over.
And it's like a book a year, which I get it. Readers are hungry, we want more, and I get it. But it's really hard on authors.
Yeah.
And
I hope
it
your
changes.
time, the book will be better.
I really hope it changes. I know. But unfortunately, and I get it, it's a business. The publishers don't want to wait on you. So I get it. It's hard. But I do hope maybe we'll slow down. You know, it's a very full market now, so I kind of hope maybe
there's lots of books to read.
Moonwalk back out of there for a bit and take my time, because I like going slowly. I like thinking really hard, and it's not like I'm wasting time. I'm just not a fast writer, so yeah.
Well, whatever you're doing is working. So
thank you. Playing those video games,
yeah.
It's working for me. I'll just go back home and play Dragon Age a 4th time. Yes.
The next series will be influenced by Mass Effect. Yeah.
Oh, my other love. Oh, BioWare. Hire me, BioWare. Hire me.
I don't know if they're following us. But
I don't care. The message will get to them somehow. I keep asking the universe. Seriously though, I would love to get into game writing. I've been like toiling with it on my own, like doing basic branching choice storylines, and like it is hard. The branches get so big so fast. I do not even know how these huge epic games deal with that. It's so cool.
Is that something that you do in your free writing?
Yeah.
That you do every day?
Yeah, I do. I free write every day. Yeah, I do. And like I was trying to teach, because I used to do coding in marine science, and so I was trying to use that code. There's basic games you can make on your own, and I was kind of trying to teach myself to do that, and yeah, it was fun. Maybe one day I'll put it out for free for people to play, like an interactive.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Interactive fiction story. Yeah. So.
Well, that's all the questions.
Thank you, Katie.
So thank you so much for doing this.
You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching.
And thank you for letting me be a part of the Witchlanders.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
It's been amazing. So.
I never could have guessed how amazing that would turn out. So thank you. It was all because of you guys. So thank you.
Thank you. And we are expecting Windwitch next year.
Yeah, January 3rd right now is the release date. That's what Amazon says. Okay. I believe you, Amazon. So.
Well, I can't wait to get my hands on a copy, so I'm begging everybody to tour for one.
I'm pretty sure everyone in the Witchlanders is going to get one. I think that's the plan right now.
So awesome. So as soon as I have that, I will read it immediately.
And I hope you like it. And even if you don't,
I'm not worried about
that.
I'm not worried about that. So I'll have a review up for that as soon as I get my hands on it. So everybody have a nice day.